sacrificing their life for the nation's freedom and independence. We have also witnessed 4 of our brothers self-immolate in exile. In 2013, Tibetans living in Tibet took resistance to a whole new level. With courage and belief in their hearts and minds, Tibetans living in Tibet have said no to raising the flag of China over their homes, resulting in many being beaten and subsequently arrested. We also saw monks in the Kharze region of Tibet handing out pamphlets and calling for Rangzhen or independence. The year also saw huge crackdowns in monasteries all over Tibet, including the holy seats of Sera and Gandhe and Drepung. Additionally, the Beijing government has intensified their crackdowns and campaigns against intellectuals, writers, singers, and filmmakers. These recent protests inside Tibet have reaffirmed that Tibetans inside Tibet are dissatisfied with the Chinese rule. But more importantly, even under the harshest conditions inside Tibet, Tibetans have not given up hope. While China's actions in Tibet over the past years have created a climate of fear and intimidation, it is apparent that what the Chinese government fears the most is facing the truth. The truth is that the Tibetan people will never be a part of the motherland. The Tibetan people will never remove His Holiness the Dalai Lama from our hearts and minds. And the Tibetan people will never give up what is rightfully theirs. The Chinese government must take a long, hard look at their draconian policies, and until and unless they change their current hardline practices, Tibetans will continue to protest in Tibet and all over the world. Folks, we must continue to keep our struggle alive and use every opportunity we get to tell the world our story. The Chinese, as you know, are using new propaganda tactics, infiltration in schools and universities all across the world, distorting history. We cannot allow for that to happen. Tibetan Youth Congress will continue to lead our fight for justice, freedom, and independence. Tibetan Youth Congress will continue to expose the truth. But our movement needs the commitment and sacrifice of all Tibetans. When we Tibetans are united, we can make change. When we Tibetans remain dedicated, we can make history. And when we Tibetans fight with courage and conviction, we can make freedom. The Communist Chinese government, as we know, are trying their best to destroy us with force and intimidation and use all means to disengage our struggle. But what they don't realize is that Tibetans, we may bend at times, but we will not break. We may be down, but we will rise up time and time again. We may falter, but we will not fail. And with the blessings of our leader, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and the courage of our brothers and sisters inside Tibet, the Tibetan movement today is stronger and more hopeful than ever. And from the regions of Darsedo in the east to Tuyangari in the west, and from Songombo in the north to the flatlands of Kongpo in the south, Tibetans from all regions of Tibet today remain more united than ever, standing firm behind our leader, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, with the goal to make his return back to Tibet a reality and restore freedom and independence for Tibet. So let us not waste time and opportunities. Today I call upon Tibetans living in exile and inside Tibet to remain committed to our struggle against the singular opponent and ultimate goal. There are many forces that have infiltrated into our communities and societies to disrupt the harmony that existed and have created an atmosphere of distrust and hostility, pitting us against each other. We know who they are and we know where they come from, but we must all be vigilant and alert. We cannot base our struggle worrying about appeasing China or rely on nations who for their own national and economic interest use Tibet as a pawn. The cause is ours, so the fight should be ours to fight. We must stand, speak, and take responsibility for our movement. Since the illegal invasion of Tibet in 1949, we have seen major changes throughout the world. Nations once under occupation have regained their freedom. Nations ruled under brutal dictators have overthrown their leaders and democracy has prevailed. No matter what adversities lies ahead, and no matter what the price one has to pay for freedom, when we take a look back at other movements for sovereignty and independence, one thing remains constant, and that is, if we believe in our struggle, if we remain united, if we adapt to times and innovation, and if we don't give up hope, then change will come to Tibet. Freedom will come to Tibet. The evil forces of the Chinese government will be defeated. Tibet will be victorious, and together we will free Tibet. Thank you, and Puyalo! 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 China out of Tibet now!
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 Wake up, United Nations!
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 Puyalo!
Puyalo!
现在做不下了，都叫那兄弟